Okay, you guys, what is up? This is Arthur Senpai here today to review Hunter x Hunter episode 125. So let's get started with this basic. Let's start with this episode. First of all, the basics: animation, pacing, and story progression. Animation was on point when it came to the fight between Netero and Meruem. That's where the animation spiked. It was like, dude, it's like, yeah, like it spiked. I was so hyped. So the animation, I'm gonna give that a great plus. When it comes to the story progression, uh, basically it's pretty simple. Knuckle heading towards the south to go help fight the king, the king and then the guards and the king basically, and going because the P2 is going to happen in fewer than 10 minutes within the time of the story. Killua was gonna help Gon obviously. So the story progression, it's good. I'm gonna give that a good plus. When it comes to the pacing, I'm gonna give that a solid. And the reason why I say that is because the pacing, there wasn't like any like huge parts where OST was being played the entire time. Like you know how like in order to give the hype for an actual episode, the pacing just goes really slow for a few minutes and then it's like just OST, like no fucking no. In this episode, whenever there was silence between characters, it was usually that the narrator was speaking. So I'm gonna give that a solid, but I wouldn't give that a great because it still went at a moderate pace. It wasn't any great pacing. So I'm gonna give that a solid. So solid, good plus, yeah, solid, good plus, great plus, good plus. So overall, the basis I'm gonna give a good plus. When it comes into the episode, when it comes as the episode, when it when it comes to the episode, I'm sorry, I don't know what I was talking about before, but when it comes to the episode, basically we have set up with the fight between Meruem and Netero, and Netero. First of all, I'm not gonna mention him just yet. I'm gonna show him like later in the video because the latter half of the episode was with him and Meruem fighting. But when it comes to Gon, P2, Poof, and Knuckle, first of all, Maleron is watching the whole thing go down via God's accomplice, and he's just watching the entire thing go down, watching yeah, watching it, and so he's just hiding there, waiting to see what goes on. Now, hmm, we see Poof, and Knuckle actually asks Poof, "Hey Poof, come outside, let's go fight." So Poof is basically like, "Okay, before we fight, I have to tell you something. This isn't my real body, this is a clone." Now it's revealed in this episode, and obviously this is true because Moro saw it. Moro told Knuckle that Pooh has the ability to clone himself into different types of, well, yeah, just clone himself basically. And of course, and this is obviously a lie because Pooh, this is his real body. His clones are just spread apart as small fly-sized insect-looking things that just fly around the place. So that's actually his real body. That's not he's not as a clone. But Knuckle doesn't know the full specifics of P2 of Pooh's of cloning power. Now, obviously, Gon realizes it's like, yo, you're wrong because you're standing right here as the real body, and well, you're lying. You're standing right here as the real body, and Poof mentions how, oh, I'm just sticking by what Gon said. I'm not doing anything. I was just came in here and then Gon told me what to do. I haven't done anything so far. And Gon's like, you're lying. You were really gonna kill me before like were you really gonna kill me before we even said anything to each other? So Gon automatically is like, no, you're lying to Knuckle, and he's like, Knuckle, don't listen to him. He's lying the entire time. And Poof notices how uh Gon is actually, when it comes to all of their enemies so far, Gon is the strongest when it comes to his will. And because Gon what's his yeah Gon notices all this, and even Pichu says the same thing. So Knuckles like, you know what, I'm gonna just bail, but before I go, and he tries to tell Gon about what happened with Yuppie. But the narrator, and I like the narrator because the narrator actually points this out. If Poof had act no not Poof, If Knuckle had actually told Gon about how Yuppie changed into this calm, into this more respectful, honorable warrior, if Gon knew that, Gon would have faltered, and his rage would have went down a little bit, or maybe even a lot more, because obviously Knuckle really isn't lying to Gon. Why would he got lie to him? So he basically like he wants to tell him, but he's like, no, if I do that, Golem's rage will go down. And we all know Nen is amplified by emotions. The stronger your emotions are, the stronger your Nen is. And right now, I'm assuming that when it comes to Golem's Nen, it's probably at its peak, like it's probably at its highest potential, and that could be a really strong power to use against the Chimera Ants and the Royal Court Guard squad. So Pete Knuckle decides, you know what, I'm gonna just leave. And he just leaves out to go find the king. And Gon tells Knuckle, yeah, the king is south. Go follow Poof and Yuppie. So that's why I think that's why when we see when it comes to Gon and Knuckle, when it comes to P2, Poof actually leaves the place where Kamaguri is. Poof leaves and he bails out. He spreads it to his mini clones. He just flies out of there, and then he actually tells Knuckle, "Hey Knuckle, if you want to fight, I give you 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Meet me outside and we'll fight then. But as for now, I'm out. Peace. Deuces. He's gone." And P2's like, oh shit. Like she immediately tries to apologize for Poof's actions. Like, I'm sorry, Poof. I don't know why Poof did that. Just give me more time. And then Gon doesn't even like go after Poof. Gon immediately says, I'm gonna give you fewer minutes now. I'm gonna give you fewer than 10 minutes. You better save Komigui in that amount of time, else I'm attacking. Now, obviously, and then the narrator mentions how Gon decided, you know what, I'm not even gonna flex about what Poof did. I'm gonna just give her fewer minutes to heal Komigui. And we see P2. P2 is truly afraid because, again, like I said before, Poof even recognizes out of all of their enemies, Gon seems to be the strongest of will, and that could be a problem for the king and what the king wants. So P2 decides, you know what? I'm gonna have to just do what he says. Now, according to the narrator, it's possible that P2's powers with Dr. Blythe, the whole Dr. Blythe healing ability, may have actually, may have actually gotten stronger because apparently, yeah, and we've seen this before. The Chimera ants, they become more and more strong over a short course of time. And in fact, when it comes to the humans and the Chimera ants seem to progress in power in shorter amounts of time than the humans do. We've been following Gon and Killua since the beginning of the story, including Leorio and Kurapika. But we've noticed how Kurapika, Leorio, Gon and Killua, they've gotten stronger over time, but it took them a while. It didn't take them like 5 days. They didn't go into the hyperbolic time chamber and train for a day and they came out strong as fuck. No, they trained over a period of time to hone their skills. But when it comes to the Chimera ants haven't even taken that much training. And according to the narrator, it's possible that P2's powers with Dr. Black may have been increased, may have been like further more powerful to the point where she may even be able to heal Kamagui within those fewer than 10 minutes. So I think that's really interesting because it's like you think that Nen it takes a lot of time to learn a lot of skill, but people like the Chimera ants, well, they're not people, they're creatures, but creatures like the Chimera ants don't even take that long. And of course, it also extends to Gon and Killua because despite the fact that Gon and Killua spent like somewhere around like they spent like a lot of months training in Nen, they've still progressed a lot farther than people would have actually thought they would be. They thought they would do, despite the fact that they're what like 12. Yeah, I remember Killua and Gon are both 12 years old. They're not even teens yet, and they progressed farther too. But their progression is nowhere even near what the Chimera ants have been having. So I find that really cool, especially when it comes to the Royal Guard, because the Royal Guard like they're just progressing like rapidly. The greatest example by far is Yuppie. Like Yuppie, he's progressed a lot. So I think that's interesting. And of course, Pitu is wondering whether or not she could take on Gon immediately after she heals Kamugui, or whether she should just wait and like wait for Gon to attack. She's still trying to sort that out in her mind, but she knows now that Gon is probably going to be the worst enemy to fight. And of course, Pitu, oh no, Poof even says that because Poof is like, I'm actually kind of happy that P2 is fighting Gon instead of Gon fighting me, because Gon, it seems that he's getting more and more dangerous by the second. So that I think is really damn interesting. Now, when it comes to the whole fight between Netero and Meruem, like I said before, this episode was mainly just setup, but it did show a side of Netero that we haven't actually seen before, where it comes to Netero and Netero realizing that maybe I've become much more merciless and much more, like disheartening than I actually should be. Because we see in these flashback scenes how every time he defeated an opponent within that martial arts dojo. Yeah, that martial arts dojo where he was just fighting other opponents. And he actually didn't kill them. He just took them up and shook their hand. Said, "Oh yeah, you lost, but at least good try." We see now that apparently Netero's thinking to himself, "Okay, maybe I'm not as merciful as I should be." But however, he still decides, what, I'm still thankful. So, and then we see him at the end of the episode, he's holding his hands to his heart, and then we see this heart shaped. I don't know if it's a heart shaped attack or something like that, but we do see that, and it might be some type of attack, some type of power up. I'm not too sure. So, because when and let me address that for a second before I close out this review. When it comes to Netero and what he thinks about this whole being merciful and being merciless, because yeah, and there's two in this episode alone. It seems that Will and Mercy are like the two top topics of this episode. The whole thing with Mercy, when you take a look at the Chimera ants, I don't necessarily think that the Chimera ants, you can't show mercy to them. Despite the fact that they do have human inside of them, their human collides with the Chimera ant, and they're unstable. So even if the king, and like I said, like a couple episode reviews before, the king is showing signs of humanity. However, according to Netero, this may not stay the same for a while because the Chimera ant and the human side are like clashing with each other, and that could be a problem. Even if Netero stops fighting Netero and says, "You know what? Let's just talk." They'll become a huge problem later because both the Chimera ant side and the human side of the king are clashing. That's a perfect example of what the Chimera ants are going through right now. So it may not be that possible to trust them. And so mercy may not be the best example or the best idea in this case. So it's obvious that Netero, according to Cole, doesn't have the power to kill the king, much less the king's royal squad or royal guard. I'm sorry. So he doesn't have that kind of strength. But again, the Terror's gonna go all out and he's gonna go merciless regardless because these guys you can't show mercy to. They're not normal. They're not humans at all. They're just half human. So overall, I'm gonna give this episode a rating of good plus. It was good plus. It's a good plus episode. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Be sure, of course, like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you don't. Rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. I'm Oji Senpai, and I'm out. Peace, guys.